Hey, my name is Andy, and welcome to Andy Taught Me How. Today, we're going to build an email form. It could be any type of form you want, but today we're just going to collect first name and email to use on the andytaughtmehow.com website. So let me share my screen. We're going to share the middle monitor, and you can see as soon as it comes up that I am looking at the BizStackPro dashboard. And all we're going to do is go create a new form. To get to forms, you go to sites over on the left. And then up here, we're going to forms. Now, there are all kinds of ways to create forms. We can let AI do it. We can do our own for us. Now, what in the world? I've got a form 0 here. Am I looking at the right place? Let's see what this is. Oh, this is the default form that BizStackPro creates for us. I'm not going to use this form. Let's go back. We're going to create a brand new form from scratch that just includes a user, just an email address and a first name. And we're going to organize it. So we're going to do some work here. We're going to create a new folder. And this is Andy Taught Me How, or ATMH, that folder. So in other words, if at other times in the future, I decide to create additional forms for other websites, then I would have those websites here in a folder. So I'm going to create inside of the Andy Taught Me How folder a brand new form, and we're going to start from scratch and hit create. Now, let me tell you now, there are so many fields that you can add to a form, and you can see they've got several fields already. We're going to get rid of a whole bunch of these and personalize or customize the couple that we want and any of this other information as we want it. So first things first, let's get rid of things that I know that I'm not going to use. I'm not going to use this because I'll write any, excuse me, any procedures, policies, all that kind of stuff will be on the page itself or just wherever I include this form on the page or on a pop-up mode or whatever it is. So we're going to get rid of all of these things. I'm not going to require the phone or even collect the phone. I'm not going to collect the last name. Really, all I want is the first name and email. And then this section right here, say goodbye to it as well. Now, let's go do some personalization, customization, whatever you want to say. Over on the right, way over on the right, is a styles and options area. So let's go and make some changes. We are going to use a single column form. And personally, I like the underlines. That's these fields right here. So we're talking about the inputs. We're going to change that to a line so that it's going to be just a line instead of a box. All right. And then we can change all of these things. I'm not going to have an 800 form. It may be 600. That looks a little bit better for what I'm actually going to use. The label width can be as long as big as I want, spacing, all that kind of stuff. All right. We can either show the label or just allow the default text inside of these to do it. So let's turn off the labels. Now, we can either have, like it says, it's going to say enter your first name, your email. I know right now that this field, that if I have an icon here, that enter your first name to me doesn't need to be left aligned. So we're going to put some padding there, maybe if I can find it. This is an input field. Let's go see if we can find it. Here we go. Here's some padding. We're going to change this. Maybe let's go up 10. Oh, look at there. So enter your first name is pretty much aligned with the icon of the envelope in your email. I like that plan. So let's do that. Now, this text, we're going to change this text. I want this to be, let's see if I can find it. Colors and background. That's fine. Nope, let's go back to advanced. I want to change that font. Input field. Well, I would really like that font to be Fira Sans, which is what is used on the rest of my website. I may come back to that a little bit later and see what we can do. I do know that I want this button to be a different color. So let's go see what color that button is. If we click on the gear, we're looking at the settings here for it. Now, look at this. We can change the font right here for the button. So we're going to go ahead and type in Fira. Oh, goodness. Come back, you. Well, we can't change it there. We can change it. We can do some styling here. Yes. All right, so we have access to custom CSS here, so we can go right here and say font dash family and then colon space Fira Sans, and that's going to make that work. Now, it has to have a semicolon at the end to be compliant with CSS. So we're going to save that. Our font should have changed, and the text for that button is going to be, we're going to say, in this case, they're going to be asking to join our list to be notified when we do updates. So let's say keep me notified. All right, there we go. Much better. The font weight does not have to be so that we have different fonts, and you would need to know the styling for your particular font as it goes. I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's see if we can adjust this here. Do we have any changes that we can make? Excuse me. It doesn't look like we can. Click on this guy. Okay, I don't see where we can change the font for that. I know that we can. We may have to do some digging later. Placeholder. Oh yeah, placeholder text. Look at there. There we go. So we want this to be Fira Sans also. Fira. Look at there. Fira Sans. Perfect. So now both of them are going to be Fira Sans. That's what I'm looking for. And it's going to be font size is 16. And that should be everything we want. Let's look at our button. I do want to change the width of the button. It doesn't need to be that big wide. So the button background, we want that to be the same color as our website, as our branding board color. So let's go look. The easiest way to get back to something else while you're looking inside of a form or a site or whatever is to duplicate the tab. Now I'm using Google Chrome and I right click on the tab and I say duplicate. And then we're going to, as soon as this comes up, excuse me. All right, we're going to go back. We don't need to get in here. We're going to proceed. We're going to leave that alone because it's still open over here. Now we have a couple of different options. We can go back to our brand board or we can open our website. So since we're already at sites, let's open our website and let's go to here to Andy Taught Me How. And then we're going to edit the page. All right. Now here's the key. To look at a color, the easiest thing to do is to click on something that has a color. All right. And then if we wanted to change it here, we're not really going to change it. We just want to get access to this to find out exactly what color we're using. And you can see that when we hover over the blue that we're going to use, that's our link color, that it's actually 0D6 EFD. All right. So let's go back over here and we're going to change this color to 0D6 EFD. Now that's going to match our color on the rest of our branding. Good to know, right? Good answer. All right. And then we're going to change one more thing. I want that button to be a bit narrower. Let's see what that's going to be. Border. Nope. Colors and backgrounds. Nope. Alignment. We do want it to be center. That's fine. Content. All right, we do not want it to be full width, so I'm going to click on that button and we're going to say it really doesn't need to be, but maybe 50%, but just in case something funky goes crazy, we're going to say 60% and make sure that the text alignment on the button is going to be centered. There we go. Now we could change that at any time, but we're going to leave that alone for now. Okay, anything else? On the form itself, if we go back to styles and look at the form, we have at the top, we have an auto margin, and we have nothing on the bottom. So I'm actually going to change the top margin to 0. And I think that's all we need to adjust here. So we can save it. We're going to change the name for sure. This is going to be the ATMH Keep Me Notified form. Not from, form. All right. And we're going to save that. And then we can go preview it real quick. Shouldn't be anything to it. That's all that I want. Now, you also notice that there's a shadow around it. We can adjust that later if we need to. I don't think we need to now. There doesn't need to be a period at the end of keep me notified. Let's go fix that. Take that period off. Okay, and then what we are going to want is whenever somebody submits this form, they can either just receive a little pop-up that says, we've got your info or whatever it says, or we can send them to a thank you page. I like to send them to a thank you page. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if the email contains the @. And that's the easiest way to confirm very simply if that is a legitimate email address or if they're just trying to spoof us. And then where's it going to go if it after it's successful? We're going to say https://andytaught.me/notified-thank you. Okay, so all we're doing is we're going to create, after this is all said and done, in the process of creating our 5-page website, we'll also include a few bonus pages that you're going to want to know about. One is the 404 page, which is an error page. And then one is a thank you notification page. So whenever they fill out this form, we're going to pop up a page that says, hey, thank you, Andy, for subscribing. We will keep you notified. Please check your email for a message from Andy at andytaughtmehow.com. The subject will be, say, something like you're in the know or whatever I'm going to create the subject of the email message will be. That way they can go look for the email. We may also include some whitelist instructions, something similar to if you found the email in outside of your inbox. Let's say you found it in your spam folder or your promotions folder, move it to your primary inbox and then make it an important button, an important email message. That way, say you see future emails from me. All right, now that's a bunch of words. We'll change it up and make it nice and pretty and eloquent in the message or on the page for the thank you page. And we're going to hit save here, and we are done. So if somebody fills out this form, they're going to be redirected to that page when it's finished. It's not now, so there will probably be an error. So we're not going to worry about that. The good news is our form is ready to use. I'm going to hit save there, and then we can include this form anywhere on our page or in a pop-up if we needed to. Let me stop sharing so I can talk to you. That was a quick and dirty how to build your first form for your website. You can collect all kinds of additional information in each field. You can create some invisible fields to collect other information as needed. And we'll come back and talk about that later on when we talk about UTM tagging and Google Tag Manager tagging, because you can do all those tags built into this form right here. That's it for today. Be blessed. I'll talk to you later. Have fun. Bye-bye.